It's time. It's time to get up. That's right. It's time to get up. It is early in the morning. Not too early, but it's 7:05. But you're wasting daylight because it is daylight outside. So it's time to get up. Because it is, believe it or not, it is a Wednesday morning. It is the third day, believe it or not, of December 2025. It is time to rise and shine.
We change the world and history right here where we're from. It's no beginning to you and me, cause we're not done. In our city, in our city, in our city, we're not done. I appreciate that.
Boom, boom. Oh, sorry about that. Getting, I was getting into the groove. Right about now, I was getting, I was getting into the groove. So, good morning. How's everybody doing? I'm doing pretty good. Now, today, not right now, but today, we're going to have a conversation on something that's quite controversial in the city of Montgomery. But since this is my own podcast and my own place to give my uh, unadulterated opinion about some things, I think it is time to broach this subject once again. But right now, it's not the time. So I want to say good morning to everybody. Hope this day finds you well. But you may want to, and a lot of you guys don't know about this, but I'm going to tell you about this. A lot of people are trying to forget it, but it is, it's like in Washington D.C. there was a reporter named Myra McPherson who I had on my radio show, who said that this is Alabama's Watergate, and it won't ever go away. It won't ever go away unless somebody does something about it. But we'll talk about all that stuff later on. Right now, of course, it is time to rise and shine. Why is that? Because you have one more day on top of the ground in the grounds not above you. I'm Kevin Elkins. Call this show Decision, because everything we do requires us to make one. And even if you don't make one, well, guess what? You just made one. So, hang loose, and we'll be back after our daily bread, But again, it's one more day above ground. It is a day that has never been. And it is a day, believe it or not, that won't ever, ever be again. It is a once-in-a-lifetime deal. And once it's gone, you don't get a do-over. You don't get it back. You don't get to summon it from the past. You don't get to come back to do all the things you did this day that you don't. And you don't get a chance to come back and undo the things that you do. So whatever it is that you do with this day, December the 3rd, 2025, make sure that if tomorrow should be, you'll be proud of what you have done this day. Good morning to you. It's time to rise and shine.
May we look for opportunities to show intentional kindness toward others. Hi, and thanks for joining us for today's encouragement from Our Daily Bread. Today's reading, titled Intentional Kindness, was written by Cindy Hess Casper. Boarding a plane alone with her children, a young mom tried desperately to calm her 3-year-old daughter, who began kicking and crying. Then her hungry 4-month-old son also began to wail. A traveler seated next to her quickly offered to hold the baby while Jessica got her daughter buckled in. Then the traveler, recalling his own days as a young dad, began coloring with the toddler while Jessica fed her infant. And on the next connecting flight, the same man offered to assist again if needed. Jessica recalled, "I was blown away by God's hand in this. We could have been placed next to anyone, but we were seated next to one of the nicest men I have ever met." In 2 Samuel chapter 9, we read of another example of what I call intentional kindness. After King Saul and his son Jonathan had been killed, some expected David to kill off any competition to his claim for the throne. Instead, he asked, "Is there no one still alive from the house of Saul to whom I can show God's kindness?" Mephibosheth, Jonathan's son, was then brought to David, who restored his inheritance and warmly invited him to share his table from then on, just as if he were his own son. As beneficiaries of the immense kindness of God, may we look for opportunities to show intentional kindness toward others. Today's Our Daily Bread devotional scripture reading is from 2 Samuel chapter 9, verses 3 through 11. The king asked, "Is there no one still alive from the house of Saul to whom I can show God's kindness?" Ziba answered the king, "There is still a son of Jonathan. He is lame in both feet." "Where is he?" the king asked. Ziba answered, "He is at the house of Machir, son of Ammiel, in Lo-debar." So King David had him brought from Lo-debar, from the house of Machir, son of Ammiel. When Mephibosheth, son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, came to David, he bowed down to pay him honor. David said, "Mephibosheth." "At your service," he replied. "Don't be afraid," David said to him, "for I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will always eat at my table." Mephibosheth bowed down and said, "What is your servant that you should notice a dead dog like me?" Then the king summoned Ziba, Saul's steward, and said to him, "I have given your master's grandson everything that belonged to Saul and his family. You and your sons and your servants are to farm the land for him and bring in the crops, so that your master's grandson may be provided for. And Mephibosheth, grandson of your master, will always eat at my table." Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then Ziba said to the king, Your servant will do whatever my lord the king commands his servant to do." So Mephibosheth ate at David's table like one of the king's sons. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for demonstrating your love to us in such very real ways. How often do you put others in our path to help us in our time of need, whether it's financially or physically or maybe even emotionally? We thank you that you're a God who is so real and who demonstrates your love for us every day. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Today's encouragement was provided by Our Daily Bread Ministries. May we look for opportunities to show intentional
Okay.
kindness toward others.
Gotcha. Now, we are going to play the Salute to Our Armed Forces, sung by our own students here in Montgomery, Alabama. We are privileged to have. Hey, how you doing there? Okay, never mind. I'll get that out of the way in a minute here. We're privileged to have the students of McMillan School, which is a school here in Montgomery. It's like a prep school or magnet school, whatever it is. But anyway, a couple weeks ago during Veterans Day, these kids got together and they were well rehearsed, well trained, and they gave us their rendition of the salute to the armed forces of the United States of America: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and Space Force. So you enjoy this, and then we'll get back to the matters at hand. That's enough. That's enough. We good. We good. We good with that. We good. But I love to hear those kids sing that song. It sort of re-strengthens my resolve that all human beings are not necessarily buttholes. I mean, some of them are really good folks out there, but those kids are. Let me get that thing out of my face here. Although some people say I look better with that on my face, so that's I may just have to leave it there. Uh, okay, not really, not really. I'm just kidding here. Although there are some that wish I would leave it there, but I'm not going to. Oh no, no, we're not going to do that. Okay. So, good morning to all of you guys out there. Hope this day finds all of you well. Now, before I get to anything, let's tell you about the weather today. It is 38 degrees outside right now, as a matter of fact, and it is going to be the weather today is going to be approximately the same as it was yesterday. Today, it's Wednesday, the 3rd of December. The high today is only supposed to be 53 degrees. There's a 2% chance of precipitation. That normally means rain or snow. Tonight, a low of 37, so not down the freezing, so we're good. A 9% chance of rain or precipitation or snow or something like that. Rarely snow. Tomorrow, though, however, is a 48% chance of precipitation, showers in the morning, and then cloudy in the afternoon. Highs around 50 degrees. Oh, it's heat wave, heat wave. Winds light and variable. Chance of rain tomorrow, of course, is 50%. Okay. The precipitation lately in the last 24, in the last 6 hours, not much of anything. 2% chance in the next 6 hours getting something. Pollen, no issues with that. Air quality is good, and UV or VU or whatever it is moderate. Okay, I mean the sun's out, so you're gonna get some. You know, if the sun comes out, you're gonna get some. The average temperature for this day would be about 55 degrees, so we're not that far off the average. After all, it is. I mean, I'm just saying, it is. It is winter. I mean, well, it's not officially winter, I think, till sometime this month, but it's on the way. Okay, it is on the way. All right. That's all I'm just telling you. Anyway, so good morning to all of you. Have a great now. A couple other things. A couple other things. I want to talk a little bit about City Council last night. City Council last night, they closed down. They suspended the business license of a hotel. Hey, good morning there, Dr. Joe. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Gary. Well, that's Dr. Joe, but we call him Dr. Joe because he has a doctorate of something. But today, we're not going to get to it right now, but the killing of Bernard Whitehurst. We're going to get to that sometime. It happened 50 years ago yesterday in the city of Montgomery. But we'll get to that. I'll give you the summation of what happened for you folks who do not know. And then it's not going away. I'm not going to let it go away because it is it's a quite an interesting story for you folks who've never heard this. And his kids and his wife are still living right here in Montgomery. Well, they don't live in Montgomery, but they're still around. They're still around. Anyway, so good morning. We'll get to that later on, though. Okay, but I just want to let you know that it's coming. Okay. Now, and again, good morning. So, let's see who else is out there. Anybody saying hello to me today? Okay, no, nobody. Okay, guess I'm on people's nerve. Again, if you want to call the show, you feel free to do that, and all you have to do is 521-2963. There's a number again right there. So if you want to give us a call, that's fine. If something is on your mind, but let's talk about City Council meeting last night. They suspended the business license of a hotel owner. Now, listen, I'm not. But here's my issue. Yes, they had a lot of police calls. They had a lot of police calls, a lot of things. But if we're going to use the same standard for our city that they use for this hotel, then we ought to close us down too. Okay, we got a lot of crime going on. We got a lot of shootings going on. We got on October the 4th, whatever day that was, they shot people downtown and killed people. And we got the whole police force working for the city, and we have crime. So shouldn't we focus more on putting some of these people in jail that do the crimes, and stop letting them, like the guy who went to jail the other day? He shot a woman, and a child was hurt too. But I think did the woman pass? I think she did. And we gave him a 60,000. We gave him a $60,000 bond. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, he gets out of jail. They continue to do the same thing. Those kinds of people are detrimental to our communities. So we're going to blame this guy who owns a hotel because they've had to call the police there many times because a lot of crap happened. Okay, well, what about the city? Who's blaming? Who we holding? Let me ask a question. And this is what I've been telling people: if the city council can hold these people responsible for what goes on in their business or in their on their property, well then, well, what is my next logical statement? Okay, what is my next logical? You guys know what it is. Okay. If in fact, okay, so then we should hold the city responsible for the crimes that are done in this city on a daily basis. Okay. I mean, should we close down the city of Montgomery? I mean, should we disband the city council? Should we close the mayor's office? I mean, listen, I don't, I think these people do their due diligence. I mean, let me put it this way. Does anybody out there think that a business owner in this city wants crime on his property? Do you think he goes out and advertise for people to come and commit crime and criminal acts on their property? Of course they don't. They in business. They need to make money so they can keep their business. So if the city wants to play that game, okay, you blaming him because they're heathens. Now we got now look at the logic of this. We have police, we have state patrol, we got sheriff's offices, we got all these people walking around carrying guns, and we can't stop crime. So seriously, how can we blame this guy if he's doing what he can do? How can we close down the business and we haven't closed down Montgomery? Okay, we got people who are scared to walk the streets around here at night. Do we blame the mayor's office? Do we blame the police department? I think Gray Boys is doing a decent job. He seems to be really interested in the city, and I think that's good. That's cool. So the question is, why should the city have the authority to close you down or suspend your license if they cannot even manage the crime in Montgomery? So we're gonna take these people, and again, I ain't never been crazy about all these hotels anyway. But people got to stay someplace. They got to live someplace. Don't they have to live someplace? So am I off my rocker here? Am I totally wrong? Of course not. If the city council can hold these people responsible, then we ought to be able to hold the city council responsible for the crime that goes on in the city of Montgomery. Okay, or any city, Prattville or Wetumpka, Millbrook, or any city. Okay. Oh, and but the first thing they will say, and the mayor's good at saying this. Okay, well, we can't be everywhere. So what makes you think that property owner can be everywhere? What makes you think he knows that some guy who's in his visiting somebody in his business, okay? Now, the only time I would hold these people responsible, let's say a guy makes trouble. He's always up there making trouble. Well, you can trespass him to make sure that he does. Now but you still can't stop him from coming. But you can call the police and have him escorted off the property. But how many? But but the police won't keep coming to get rid of this guy off the property. They got other things to do. That's true, they do. So now, if the hotels are providing guards, providing proper lighting, providing reasonable access to their place of business, then what else did the city want them to do? These guys are not responsible because we got a bunch of heathens running the streets in Montgomery. Again, we got the police department, the sheriff department, we got downtown, we got the U.S. Marshals. Okay, we got everything, and we can't stop crime. So why are we punishing a business who are not in the crime fighting business because idiots show up at their place? Now somebody explain that to me. I'm waiting. Somebody please explain that to me, how we can do that. And we can't hold the city council of the city of Montgomery equally responsible for what goes on in the city of Montgomery. Oh, yeah, I know. I know. You cannot, the city council cannot be on every corner. That's true. That's absolutely true. So why do we blame this business guy for the folks who come off those corners and come out there to their place and raise hell? And I know you got people shot, you got people robbing. We know. The other day on Thanksgiving Day, near Gaslight Curb, we can't even give crime a break on Thanksgiving. We had somebody three guys walk up to a guy, take everything he had, robbed him, and kept running. We we can't even stop crime on Thanksgiving. So, I mean, it's unfair to the business owner if he's doing his due diligence. Now, if all those people were his relatives, okay, and they stay there, he may have some responsibility. But again, do I make sense? Do I make sense? If the city is going to make you close down your business because there's too much criminal activity on the premises, then the city of Montgomery must close down too. Because there's damn too much activity, criminal activity in the city of Montgomery. Mr. Mayor, he was supposed to be here today, as a matter of fact. We're going to have him here next week, as a matter of fact, and pose these questions because this is crazy. People make their living, they invest their money into their businesses, and you're going to blame him because we got idiots in town? I mean, now if they start shooting these people, you're going to want to put them in jail. Okay, you want. I mean, you draw down on them, say, hey, and you shoot them and do all kinds of things, or beat them with a stick or whatever the case may be. Then the guy's going to be in double trouble. So the question is, should the city of Montgomery be held to the same standard that they held this hotel, that they held this hotel owner to? Should we hold them to the same standard? Because they can't be everywhere either. They can't watch every corner. They don't know who's coming in the park. They don't know. But once they find out and this is a troublemaker, then I guess they can do. But then let me tell you what's going to happen then. Here's what's going to happen then. Somebody's going to say, "Oh, they prejudiced. They one guy came. Listen, one guy came to a city council meeting a few months ago and said, well, it's the black folks that come up here to committing crime. And they wanted to call him a racist. Okay? They wanted to call him a racist. but he said it's not everybody. It's just this group of young people, we call them YNs. Okay, I don't really know what the N stand for really, but I think I know, but I'm not exactly sure. The Y stands for young. Okay. In the end, well, you make your own. You put your own word in there. But a lot of these YNs and YWs, but not very many YWs. YNs, and I'll say young Negro males. Okay, not too many. I mean, I guess Montgomery now what 70% black now, So I don't know. But anyway, same standard. I want somebody to disagree with me here. Please disagree with me. Okay? It's in their DNA. Well, I'm not going to, or can it be? And if it's in their DNA, then it is a disability. Okay. If it's in their DNA, it's a disability, and we should get them some medication. Okay. We should take them down to the hospital or to a psychiatrist and get them some medication. Okay. Let's put them on lithium or something, and so it'll calm them down. Because I think now, me personally, I think a lot of these folks are the babies of the '90s. Who kind of everybody was on crack around here and all that stuff, and maybe that stuff has a lingering effect, and the lingering effects is that it lends people to the I don't know, the inordinate amount of time trying to figure out how to do more crime. I don't know, but am I right? Okay, really, if in fact if in fact the city, and I'm gonna see if I can reach one of my city councilmen here in a minute and see. Hold on, let me see if I can. Let me see if I can reach somebody right now, because I gotta tell you. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, here we go. I don't see him. Okay, well, I'll get him. Oh, there he is, right there. I'll get him. Okay, where's he at? I don't see him. Okay, well, I'll get him. Because this is not right. It really is not right to close the business down because we can't control our citizens. Okay, it's not his fault that people coming out to his place. And again, there's a thin line between um, managing your property and being selective in who you own. If he starts saying, okay, we ain't taking no YNs, okay, we ain't taking them. We they just can't come. Well, then they're gonna have a lawsuit against them for discrimination. And knowing the mayor like I know him, he'll probably be glad that the lawsuit is taken, because you can't do that. You can't do that. Okay. Well, you can do it. I mean, you can do it. Now you may not get away with it, but you can do it. Okay. So anyway, now is that now I'm a reasonable guy. So is that reasonable? Okay. Is that a cure? Is that a cure? We don't let YNs in anybody's business. Okay, we just don't. That would solve a lot of our problems in our business. That would solve that solve a lot of our. Let me see if I can find my city council here. Oh yeah, there he is right there. Okay, see if I can find him. Okay, I'm just saying. Let me see if I can find him, because it makes sense to me. Let me see if I can find my city council person here now, because I need to know the answer to the. Oh, okay. Let me see here. Okay, I'm just trying to find him. He, he may be still asleep this time of morning. Okay, he may be. Okay, well, I can't find him, so let me go down the list. Let me go down the list and see if I can find another one. Okay, because I'm gonna call. Somebody's gonna answer this question for me this morning. Okay, somebody's gonna answer me the question this morning. Okay, let's see. See if I can reach the. See if I can reach uh, the chairman of the city council this morning. Yeah, let's see if I can reach him. See, cause we need answers. Answers here. I gotta have answers. I need to know. People want. Okay. 7:30. They ought to be up.
Hello.
Hey, Councilman Calhoun, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I know it's early. I didn't tell you I was going to call you, and you're on the podcast for a couple of minutes. But I just got to ask you a question.
hmm
You guys suspend the license of the hotel owner last night. If we use the same standard for the crime that goes on in Montgomery, should we hold you guys responsible for for all the crime that goes on around here?
No, sir, because we're not the ones that own Montgomery. The citizens of Montgomery own Montgomery.
But
So it's a collective effort.
oh,
We
okay.
govern by the laws.
I got you. And those people who do the crimes out there are governed by those same laws, and they don't have a tendency to want to respect those laws. But the business owner out there don't go out there and invite people on his property to do crime. So why are we
Yeah,
blaming
but
him for what citizens are doing?
because as a business owner, and to do business and do business the right way, you have to manage the business that you got. A lot of the problem is absentee landlords. They don't know what's going on their properties until they get a letter notification saying, hey, your license is possibly going to be revoked if you can't show cause why. We should keep it. And so when you go out and with what we had 261 calls for services within the last year and a half, and 6 murders and robberies and stuff that's going on, and when you go out to talk with the management that's on site, they have no idea what's going on. Can't even contact the owner. So that's not a proper way to run a business in Montgomery.
But again, we have the same problems in our city, and you put it off
Mm-hmm.
on you, and you put it off on y'all don't. I mean, y'all run the city. So if
Yeah.
you run the city and he runs his business, shouldn't you be held to the same standard?
Yeah, no. I say we make the laws to run the city and to govern his business. So we have laws in the city that people that break the laws, the police department goes out and do the things that they need to do.
Right, but we don't.
I can't revoke you. I can't revoke you and kick you out the city. That's your freedom. But there's laws that you have to abide by.
If the guy is doing his due diligence, cameras
Mm-hmm.
and due diligence and whatever, what is he supposed to do? I mean, let's say he hires security guards, and security guards are only limited to few things they can actually do except call the police. And you don't believe that the limits of our police department, because we don't have a whole lot of people in it, is somewhat responsible, or this is a reaction of criminals knowing that we don't have a lot of policemen running the streets. Aren't we still contributing to that issue by not having a full-fledged police force?
Oh no. I can understand where we at when you talk about a shortfall, but when we look at it from a standpoint, if you own a business, now this thing about cameras and what are you trying to do? You change your management staff. All that is like hindsight, and you couldn't commit to the council last night to say, well, hey, I do have that. This is what you're planning to do. Cameras is now what is cameras going to do? You knew your operation was being ran badly when you hired the people to run it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always firm a believer, people don't do what you expect them to do. They do what you inspect. So if I own it, I got to inspect it, because I can't let people run me out of business if that's the way I take care of my business and take care of my life, my livelihood. I'm going to do everything I can to keep it. And I talked with the owners for the first time, and we've been at this thing here for over a year and a half. No one reached out. We kept doing the investigation, going out there. The owners show up last night to tell the council, or tell me, this is what my plan is and what we're planning on doing. What happened when we first sent you the letter saying, hey, we're looking at a show cause hearing about your life? No one reached out.
Okay.
So I think I look at that as a panic mode.
Okay. So now I feel you now. Now, okay. So we're not closing them down necessarily because of the crime. We're closing them down because after getting a letter from our city council, they never responded to the city council what they were doing until last night.
Never responded. Never seen them. Never heard from them. No one said anything about nothing, and we knew the problem that we were having. After 4 or 5 murders that was going on, 6, I think, that went on within the last year. Why don't you reach out and say, well, I need help?
Right.
Can you guys help me with this? No one says anything to revoke the license. And then when we operate, and I can go by this. The problem is you can't run. It's saying it's a suburban hotel,
right,
but they're running an extended stay there, and you're taking cash. So you can't account. You're taking cash. It's a fly-by-week. The same thing happened on the Southern Boulevard when those hotels started doing that. And look at it deteriorated the Southern Boulevard. Exit 6 is an important exit in Montgomery.
It is.
With investment going over there, and we just can't allow that to happen. And the message goes out, hey, if you're going to do that, if you're a hotel owner or any kind of business that don't want to take care of your business, you subject to the same action.
Okay. Well, you make it clear to me this morning, because basically we're not blaming them for the crime, but we are blaming them for not coming to you guys and at least answering so you guys would know what they were doing. That's why you call out. That's why you call your representatives because I just said
Yeah.
if we're going to start blaming people for the crime on their property, then we got to blame y'all for the crime in Montgomery.
Yeah, I got you. Got you. So, and that's the thing we say. Like, you blame me and one of the things I can put out on your podcast. The citizens are talking about gun violence in the city of Montgomery, within the state of Alabama, not just Montgomery. And what the citizens and what the people are crying out to the city government is about, hey, what changes are you making? So we're asking our state legislature. We want our police asking us, so we're asking them. We want to be able to ID people. If you're walking down the street with a weapon, and we can't step up to you and say, hey, what's your name? Who are you? And I say, I'm Kevin Evans because we're both black males.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot, it's unsafe.
Yeah,
so if the people are crying out and we're crying out, we need to hear from the people.
Okay. Well, listen. Again, I've often said, Matt Sarton, first sergeant, whichever one you are, that
just call me retired now. I'm none of that no more.
Yeah, I know you're not, but yeah, but we both NCOs and all, so I gotta give respect where respect is due.
I got you, sir. I got
you. Okay. Well, I'm good, and that's why I was checking with you this morning because I know we can't blame him for the crime, but we can blame them for not coming to that city council when they were summoned. And okay,
you got to respond to the call. And I talked to him last night. I'm like, I'm not blaming you. I wish you would come back with a better plan, the plan that you're talking now. But I couldn't, in my right mind, and ask the council to say, hey, let's extend this for 30, 40 days, and then in a week, so somebody get murdered out there. Then we had the opportunity to revoke the business license and let you come back. He owned 25 hotels throughout the state of Alabama, so I know he know how to operate the right way.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the deal.
All right. Hey, one more thing before we go. We are going to talk about the Bernard Whitehurst case today. And two things. Can you tell me why the city of Montgomery, is everybody scared? We are one of the few cities that don't have a street named after Martin Luther King. And don't tell me that highway crap on Interstate 65, 85, whichever one that is. You don't even know you in it. So why don't we Prattville, Bubberville, has a MLK Street. Why don't we?
Hey, you can't get 5 votes to say let's do it. So I don't have a problem with it. My thing is to talk to my colleagues about why they won. And I don't think they have opposition about Martin Luther King. We have a Rosa Parks. We have Edgar D. Nixon.
Right.
So we just got to figure out where we want to put it. I'm all for it. I'll support that.
Okay, rename Dexter Avenue. He wasn't such a great guy anyway.
Hey, I don't have a problem with that one either.
Okay, I don't. Anyway, okay, but the Whitehurst thing. 50 years ago yesterday, Bernard Whitehurst was gunned down in the city of Montgomery by Montgomery Police Department. And I know that the attorney, Watkins, took it to federal court. And he bypassed the city courts for some reason. I don't know why. And the judge, in the end of the day, said, well, since the gun was thrown down after he had expired, human beings don't have civil rights when they pass. It's a cruel thing to say. I understand the clinical meaning of what the judge said, but this city owes that family something. Why can't y'all work that out? And we know it didn't happen. We know it didn't
talk to me about this several times.
Yeah,
and it didn't happen. It didn't happen under my watch.
True.
And I'm willing to listen to anything that can come by. And I'm like, what compensation can we do? What amount would be enough?
Well, we gave the Gunn family money. We gave other people money, and money won't bring anybody back. But we have given money away.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, this man. First of all, I don't know why nobody wasn't charged with murder, because murder does not have a statute of limitations.
I agree with you 100%. Why nobody wasn't charged? When you found out the investigation that it was set up, it was the wrong man, and they dropped the gun. I think somebody should have been set up with murder, but we got to look at the times that we was in then. But like you said, there's no statute of limitation on murder.
I wonder, can they go back and recharge somebody? Well, I don't know. Some of the folks are gone. But anyway, it just, but as a moral thing, you don't think the city of Montgomery, the city, not you, not our city council, not the mayor, not anybody, but you don't think the city owes that family something?
I can't say. I think if the citizens come out and make that present that they want the city to do something, we'll have to react to that.
Yeah.
We represent the people. So if that's what the people saying they want to make happen,
Mm-hmm.
we have to look at it.
Well, I'm sure that's what the family wants.
Okay. All right. I hear that. I'm one vote.
That's true. Well, listen, use some of those persuasive powers you have, and make it happen.
All right, man. I'll talk to you on the next meeting.
I bet you will. Okay,
All right, brother. All right.
all right. Okay, then. Well, we good. All right, all right. But now I got a better understanding. Uh-oh. What's it? Sambo'ville needs an MLK Street. Hey, that all right. All right, Dr. Joe. Watch out now. Watch out. Listen, he became known of prominence here in Montgomery, preaching from Dexter Avenue Church. So you tell me, why should we not have a street called MLK? This is where this is where the Rosa Parks things happened. This is where he became a prominent, worldwide known, at least nationally known. Why shouldn't? Are you guys in Montgomery scared of an MLK Street? Really? Are we scared of that? I just don't uh because it's not my job. The city of Montgomery did this, not the current administration, of course, but the city of Montgomery did this. I mean, they took these kids, they took their dad, their mom's husband, and all on a lie. Okay, we got women these days that can claim something happened 40 years ago, and we taking people to court. But we don't want to give anything to this family. And on a cold December day, that happened. Okay. But okay. Okay. I hear you now. Yeah. Well, it's kind of Bubbleville. I mean, ain't too many black folks out there. Although they get more black folks out there because some of them leaving here too, going to Prattville. So a lot of people leaving here. But even Prattville has an MLK. Okay. So, and everybody, hey James, and everybody, okay, realizes that something was done wrong in the Whitehurst case. Everybody knows something was done wrong. And let me tell you, I'll get into a couple other things, but we'll get okay. Well, since I'm on it, he said, "Oh, what will naming a street after Dr. MLK mean? It will mean it. Here's what it will mean. Every year we have the crossing of the bridge. We have things. Here comes the attic charge. All right, go ahead and give it to me, Don.
I'm with Chris Rock on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere in America, if you break down on MLK Street or Boulevard, you know your ass ain't in trouble. So that's all it says is, it's a ghetto if you name something like that. That's what we need to do to Montgomery to make people think more of it's a ghetto. Who even wants to go? You think a white person coming to Montgomery wants to take their kids to a school named MLK because it speaks loads, don't it?
Well, what?
Don't it say something?
The name
you know exactly what you get when you go to a school named MLK.
Okay, and that's only because for some reason on both sides of the
spectrum. And if you lived on it, you'd have to change all your information, your checks. If you probably don't have a check, but if your bank accounts, all your addresses, it would be a lot of inconvenience for anybody that lived on that thing. But there's not name one in America where people think was a great place to be.
Well, I don't know. The only one I know is.
And then Whitehurst. Tell me what was wrong in Whitehurst.
What was wrong?
You said everybody knows something was wrong. What was it?
They killed a man.
Yeah, and what did they break a law?
They murdered him. Yes, they did.
Did they break a law?
Oh, because it was a law that said you can shoot people.
Back then it was a fleeing felon law.
He wasn't
Whitehurst
a
wasn't a
felon.
great guy.
He wasn't a
He was
felon.
a peeping Tom and a low-life criminal.
Hey, listen, we all got issues. That don't
Yeah,
mean
we all got issues, but
don't mean
I'm not saying the truth. The family was at that
You don't
time
know
she must
that.
not have been married because for some reason the mother was out front.
But you don't
They offered
know.
the mother $100,000, and
No,
they
they didn't.
said no, and
No.
they went to federal court to sue and they lost.
Prove it to me.
You know what $100,000 was worth back then?
Again,
You don't know.
I do
You
know.
just do what they
Because
tell
it is
you.
my understanding. Well, now you only know
I
what
know you're
tell
ignorant.
you. You only know
You're
what
ignorant. You don't do any study.
I have done. I have studied this case exhaustively.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I
Who
have.
you talk to?
I talked
to?
I talked to Myra McPherson from the
Yeah,
New York.
you liar.
From the
You
New
read an
York-
article.
No. I brought the woman who wrote the article on
You
the
know
show.
who I talked to? I called Birmingham, talked to the Attorney General at that time. He's the guy that came in and actually tried to get convictions on people.
Wait a minute. And I got audio from him.
What did you call him and ask questions? He would have answered your question.
I got audio.
They offered the mother $100,000, and Watkins took it to federal court and lost. $100,000 in that time was a lot of money.
He took it to
Bernard Whitehurst was not a great, loving guy. He was a low-life
none of us are perfect.
and that's why he took off running from the police.
You don't.
Now, was it a bad thing to do? Yeah. But you know what was wrong? Yeah, if they didn't even have to throw down the gun.
But they did throw it down because they knew they did something
and which
wrong.
one of them did it?
Doesn't make any difference. The whole police.
Yes, it does make a difference. It's called law.
Their city.
Who are you gonna prove threw it down?
Doesn't make any difference.
How much you want to give it? Give us a number, Kevin. You must get little pieces of action if you get anything, because you just keep on this crap over and over and over. How much you getting? How much they promise you?
Ain't nobody promised me jack.
Give us a number. Give us the number you want to give them.
I don't know how much.
How much you want to give them?
Wait, how much money would you want to give somebody that shot your dad?
Huh? That Negro that shot my dad didn't have no money. My dad was shot, but my grandfather was shot by a Negro. Nobody gave me a dime.
Okay, well, you should ask them for it. But if the police did it, then that's a whole different thing about a crook in the street.
No, it ain't.
Yes, it is. They did it under the color of
authority. They
authority.
offered him $100,000 back then.
Prove it.
The family's gonna call and lie.
Prove it to me.
Tell me why were they dealing with the mother of Bernard Whitehurst and not the wife? Because he wasn't married.
We talking about what the
he wasn't married. Can you even prove those kids were his kids?
We're talking about what the police.
Can you even prove the kids are his kids?
It's irrelevant.
He wasn't married to them.
It's irrelevant.
It is relevant. Tell us what amount you want to give us.
Forget it. It's got nothing to do with kids or paternity or anything. The police shot a man in the back, and then after they found out, you know what they said on? Do you know what they said on the radio? And Myra McPherson, look in the New York Times. You'll find her. She was on the show. We talked in person. She said that this is Alabama's Watergate, and it will never ever stop coming up. Okay, that's what she said. So because what they did was they shot a man, and then to make matters worse, as a matter of fact, look it up. You know what the police said when they came across the radios of Montgomery? When they came across the open air, they said, we done shot the wrong nigga. Okay, that's what the police department said. We done shot the wrong nigga. Okay, and that's not the only one. That's not the only one. There was a guy who was going across the bridge in Prattville. They tossed him off the bridge. Okay, there's been so many crimes that nobody will ever get the truth about what happened. But the Whitehurst case, when the police shoot a citizen under the color of authority, I'm not talking about an average Joe crook. I'm talking about when you do it under the color of authority, you get a lot of power. And then to make matters worse, they made a mistake. And then to make matters worse, they tried to cover it up by throwing a gun down from the police evidence room. The police evidence room. So So not only did they break the law, they went and got a gun that was in evidence and brought it back and threw it down. And the judge says, but the lawyer at that time, what was his name? Um, what was his name? He's been in the paper recently. His son was trying to um, the mayor was trying to have his son work for him, but he said he brought a case of civil rights violation against Montgomery. Okay. Okay. I don't know anything about the Mahogany Jackson story. I don't know anything about, but I have studied this one for years. Even got some of the people that were actually involved with the story. So I'm not giving you my opinion on some of this. I'm telling you the facts of it. And the fact of the matter is that they killed a man. It's kind of like the Watergate thing. Nixon didn't do any robbing. He didn't break into the what's the name of that hotel up there? White. I thought that was a white something. Um, but he tried to cover it up. That's why Nixon got in trouble. He was trying to cover it up. Okay, which is what Montgomery police tried to do, and the city of Montgomery tried to do, and the mayor and everybody tried to do here. So we can take a president down, but we can. And the mayors of Montgomery, I think he resigned. The police chief, I think, quit. Things of that nature, but that still did not do anything for this family when the city of Montgomery, took their father and her husband. Took them, okay, under the color of authority. So in December the 5th, 1975, I'm headed to Fort Dix, New Jersey. I'm just going in to be a good private and basic training. Okay. And back in poor Montgomery, Alabama, on that cold winter day, the police was shooting down a man in Montgomery, Alabama. I didn't even, all I knew about Montgomery, Alabama in 1975, that it was a city someplace in America. I didn't know anything about it, except the historical fact that they teach you in school. But other than that, I didn't know anything about it. I know a hell of a lot more about it now than I did 50 years ago, 18 years old. So I had my own problem then, like that drill sergeant putting his foot on my face in that snow, and it was cold up there. But anyway, okay, she was raped. Okay, well, Birmingham has to deal with that. Okay, Birmingham has to deal with that. I don't know what happened to everybody all over this country. There are a lot of terrible things, but it makes a difference when the perpetrators who did this did it under the color of authority. It makes a difference. Okay? Not a crook is going to be a crook. They're going to be a crook. Okay? And that's their job. A crook's job is being a crook. A police's job is to respond to crime, not to be the initiators of that crime. Okay, and it's, I mean, Don. Listen, Don. He probably thinks they line all the black folks up and shot them. It'll be okay. Okay, that's what he thinks. Okay, again, they I'm just saying, and I still can't figure out why we don't have a MLK Street. I don't understand that. The city where this man came to national prominence, international prominence, and we got MLK Streets in Prattville, but we don't have one in Montgomery. Then who has been paid off? Okay, who has been paid off? We live in a city. Who's still mad at MLK? There must be somebody in this city that's still mad at MLK, and they mad because he got all the notoriety and they didn't get any. And they may be right about some of that too. There are a lot of people in the civil rights movement. A lot of people. Sometimes I think we ought to change the name to Civil Rights Day, because a lot of people participated. But that's not the way life is. There needs to be a leader of a movement in order for it to get any traction. There needs to be a leader. Martin Luther King was a noted leader in the 50s in the '60s about to do this. Okay, he was just a noted leader of that time. So do we got people in Montgomery still mad? Is that what this is like? Okay. And again, I guess the city council is mad at MLK. Maybe not the black ones, but maybe some of the white guys are. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Where Prattville has an MLK street. Now, Don was right about one thing. Most places where I go, there's MLK. I used to live in St. Louis. We got an MLK. We got an MLK, and most of the time, they put it in the hood. I'm thinking, why don't we name it MLK from Dexter all the way down to Court? Okay, I just think that would be all right. Okay, no, I don't. We don't want to talk about night. Okay, but anyway, I don't get understand. And whatever happened to this young lady, she said she was raped, tortured, and murdered by 8 YNs. I hope they get every doggone thing. If they absolutely sure who did it, they need to do everything to them humanly possible, to make sure they are punished and held accountable for what they did. But again, why is it that we want to punish some, but we don't want to punish others? Okay. And again, those police officers, some of them quit, some of them moved away, but nobody ever was charged. And I think they had a couple of trials, but you know what? Back in those days, you were not going to get a guilty verdict on white officers by black folks. It was what it was. There's nothing we can. I mean, we can't undo. We can't undo what happened. But the Whitehurst family, and I'm going to do a show with all of those guys one day. This city owes them, not the mayor, not the city council, but the city of Montgomery, which is a duly authorized charter. Okay, and those policemen who did to this family what they did were employees of this city. And under the color of authority, they broke the law. And just because he was dead when they threw the gun down doesn't make his life any less worthy than anybody else's. Okay? Because think about it, when a police officer dies in the line of duty, we honor that police officer. We honor soldiers when when they die in the line of duty. But when we find soldiers, policemen doing the wrong thing, we don't honor them. We hold them accountable. And the city of Montgomery has never been held accountable for what they did to Mr. Bernard Whitehurst. They never been held accountable. And it still reaches everybody today. And that's why it won't go away. Myra McPherson said it won't go away because they have yet to do that family. And listen, if y'all think money is gonna bring back Mr. Whitehurst, it won't. But in America, when you do things wrong, Bernard Whitehurst Jr. was shot in the back and killed on December the 2nd, 1975 by Donald Foster, a Montgomery, Alabama police officer who said he thought Whitehurst was a suspect in the robbery of a neighborhood grocery store. In a subsequent cover-up, police officers planted a gun on him. The initial police report said that Whitehurst fired a gun at the officers, and the police returned fire. There was no autopsy. The body was quickly embalmed before the family was even contacted. The coroner relied on police reports that Whitehurst was killed by a bullet fired through the chest. They didn't even do an autopsy. They embalmed the man's body before the family even knew it. Okay, to hide what they had done. Now that's under the color of authority for the city of Montgomery. 6 months later, after an investigation by the local newspapers and local attorney Donald Watkins raised questions about the facts of the case. The district attorney ordered the body to be exhumed, and an autopsy was performed that showed that the Whitehurst had been shot in the back. A perjury indictment was issued for 3 police officers. 8 police officers were forced to resign or were terminated. No police officer was convicted of any crime. The attempted cover up led to the resignation of the mayor and the director of public safety. In October 1976, District Judge Robert E. Varner ruled that any conspiracy to violate Whitehurst's civil rights ended with his death. Following the ruling, the jury returned a verdict in favor of Police Chief Wright, his top aide Swindle, and Foster. Okay, in 2012, the city of Montgomery acknowledged, and you know why it got acknowledged. You know why it got acknowledged? Because I went to one of our, and he went. He's up in Idaho right now as a monk. The guy Hubbard, Councilman. His name was Hubbard, but he was on the city. He was a representative in the House of in the House of Representatives, and I went down to him and asked him, could they at least acknowledge that that man lived and that he was an individual and a human being, and it shouldn't go. So in 2012, the city of Montgomery acknowledged wrongdoing, but no compensation has been given to the Whitehurst family. The Montgomery City Council adopted a resolution that formally expressed regret, for the shooting death of Whitehurst. In April 2013, the city of Montgomery placed an historic marker, which, I might add, somebody has torn down, okay, to tell the story of the shooting. So we tell the story, everybody knows, but in America, we pay for those atrocities. But for some reason, in this city, we can't get anybody to give this family anything. Okay, we've expressed that something was done wrong. We know who did it. Under the color of authority, a mayor leaves office, police officers resign. So you tell me any other place in America where that happened that somebody wouldn't have compensated this family, and money's nothing, but at least it allows that mom to have a life that she could have had back then had her husband not been shot and killed. Okay, and the marker is gone now. I found out the other day that somebody took the marker down. It was a police cover up, and it was done. What was done by Lister? It was a cover up in the Lister Hill Plaza across from Montgomery City Hall. In June 2015, after the city rejected a request to rename a street for Whitehurst, an agreement was reached for the city to place a second historic marker with the spot where Mr. Whitehurst was shot and killed. The second marker was dedicated to the 40th anniversary of the death in 2015. Okay, so from the date of the killing, the Montgomery Advertiser covered the shooting of Bernard Whitehurst by police and later investigated subsequent controversy, publishing news stories and editorial, which still didn't do anything for the family, that questioned the original police report. We all know that what happened was wrong. So to keep rehashing the story is not going to change the narrative. So rather than prosecution, the city of Montgomery and the state of Alabama accepted resignations. In 1976, 3 Montgomery police officers detectives faced perjury charges related to the gun found next to his body, though the only trial resulted in a mistrial in an attempt to resolve the case. Alabama Attorney General William Baxley, who I got some audio from him that says he thought they did wrong, agreed to the police involved in the alleged cover would not be prosecuted if they passed a polygraph test. Under their agreement, officers who refused to take the test who failed would be terminated from their jobs. Perjury case against 3 officers were dismissed after they resigned instead of taking the polygraph test. Eventually, 8 police officers were forced to resign or were terminated. No police officer was convicted of any crime. The city of Montgomery's mayor, James Robinson, at the time, and the director of public safety, Ed Wright, also resigned. Acting on the administration's Whitehurst estate, his mother, Ida Mae Whitehurst, filed a federal lawsuit claiming that the fatal shooting and the police cover up deprived Whitehurst of rights guaranteed under the Fifth and Sixth and 13th and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution. In October 1976, District Judge Robert E. Varner ruled that any conspiracy to violate Whitehurst's civil rights ended with his death. In other words, what they said was, well, since he was dead, you couldn't violate his rights. I understand that from a clinical position, but from a moral position, that's a bunch of Bravo Sierra. Anyway, there's a book that's been written by a friend of mine named Foster Dixon, who wrote a book called Closed Ranks by Foster Dixon, published in November 2018 at the New South Books. So anyway, and that's just one of the things. So I don't know why we can't. I don't know why we cannot. We can't get an MLK Street. Uh, uh, and they have been dealing with, but you would think 1975 was a long way. 20 years, 1955. You think that? I mean, I had no idea these kind of things were still going on in America in 1975 because I was only 18 years old, so I didn't know what was going on in any place, you know. But I had no idea. And then I was down at Fort Benning in '79. I didn't know I was that close to Montgomery then. You know, Montgomery was just a place that I've never heard any good things about it. Never coming up. It was just a place where black folks were totally done wrong all the time for whatever reason. Things taken from them, they're not treated fairly. That's all I knew about Montgomery, Alabama. And it was a place. Okay, it was a place that I never wanted to come. Okay, never wanted to come. Now now it's a place where now we can make plenty of money off the miseries of the past. Of all those black folks, we can make money off of it, and that's why I don't like. And that's why I don't like the EJI thing. You know, it's a constant reminder of what people had to go through living here. And this is 75, so 50 years ago. And 50 years ago sounds like a long time, but it's not. I was alive 50 years ago. You know, it sounds like a long time, but it really isn't. To the people who have been hurt, misled, done wrong, it's as if it happened yesterday. And Florence Whitehurst, you know, and her kids. But I'm gonna bring them on one day. We're gonna do a podcast with them and let them tell you their side of this. The city of Montgomery left 3 kids without a dad. No financial means, no anything. The city, I mean, they did that, and we're not talking about the city of Montgomery now. Okay, we understand that 50 years ago when most of them were like I was or younger. So in 1975, I got that part, but that doesn't relinquish the responsibility that this city of Montgomery has to that family and any other family that went through these kinds of things. When you take a man's body, his family don't even get to see him, embalm him, and all kinds of things. They don't get to do anything. And then we just think we're just going about our lucky way for 50 years as if the man did not even exist, as if he was some roach in a corner someplace, insignificant. I just listen. I guess that happened right after the old abortion thing happened in '72. You know, I guess certain people's lives just wasn't worth that much. Just wasn't worth that much. And again, and we do Martin Luther King a disservice in this city too. We name we done got street named almost everybody. But we can't get one where every other city in this country almost, or at least a state in some city in every state has an MLK Street. That man put his life on the line trying to help people. And listen, if the truth be told, no matter what position that we find ourselves in, we all got history. We all done something stupid when we were young. We all done everything. Does the sum, and then I'm gonna be done with this issue, and then we're gonna be done. Does the sum of one's life, should it be wrapped up in the mistakes we make? Because if that's the case, then none of us are worthy of seeing the pearly gates. Okay? Because none of us are perfect. None of us. And the problem is, Americans, as human beings, we had convenient memories. We can remember what everybody else did wrong, but we seem to forget what we did wrong. So I'm just thinking. Anyway, okay, what else is going on? Anyway, that's just my story. So the Bernard Whitehurst thing, and I'm gonna get his kids on one of these days. And you were I was only 18. Okay, old as hell, which is a blessing. That's true, Kevin. You were old then. I was 18. You know what you are now. True, old as hell. That's true, which is a blessing. That's true. Okay. Aljamal says the Whitehurst trauma, black folks been dealing with that, and they have been. And that's what irks me so bad about it. We have dealt with it for years, but now it's us doing it to us. We shooting people down in the street just like the police did Bernard Whitehurst. Yeah, just like they did. Except they're not doing it under the color of authority. They're doing it under the color of ignorance. Okay. Okay. Listen, I think O.J. Simpson was guilty. Okay. I think OJ was guilty. You say what you want to say. I thought he was guilty. I think OJ thought he was guilty too. That's why when he went on that chase, he was going slow. Okay, he wasn't going too fast, was it? Anyway, moving right along to other things, but I wanted to bring that up because Myra McPherson, go on the internet, Myra McPherson. Okay, she was the reporter that came down and found out that they said we done shot the wrong nigga. Okay, that's what they said. Myra, let's see. Okay, Mick Pherson. Let me see if I can find her. Okay, McPherson by let me see. Yeah, she's there. The power. Well, she wrote some. That's not the same one I'm looking at. She was a reporter I think she's a reporter for the. It's either the New York Times or the Washington Post. Well, I'll find that out later on. But anyway, a reporter, Myra McPherson. But I had on the air one day with me when I first found out about this. I said, "Wow, that's not possible to the people that do those kinds of things." Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is her. Yeah. Remind me. She is a distinguished journalist known for her profound insights into politics, the Vietnam War, and the death and dying. Her career began in Belmont High School when she developed a passion for journalism. So, yeah, that's what she said. Let me see. She's the one that said that. She's the one that said that. She's the one that said that this is Alabama's Watergate. Okay. Okay. So I'm just saying. Anyway, moving right along to other things. I got my I got it out today. Okay, I didn't hear people calling me and say, you can't talk about that. You can't talk about that. Well, I'm gonna keep talking about it as long as I live until somebody acknowledges that man was a human being, and regardless of what his issues were, we all have some. That he didn't deserve to be shot down in the streets, and nobody acknowledged it except with a plaque. That those kids deserve Bernard Jr., Stacy, and their sister. They deserve something because these people took their father under the color of authority, and all they can say is we done shot the wrong nigga. So yeah, I'm highly perturbed at that, and I wasn't here. I didn't know much about it, but I'm gonna keep it on the burner until somebody, unless I die, which is going to happen at some point. But somebody needs to do something for this family. I tried to reach out to her, but I couldn't find her. I don't even know if she's still alive. She has an age on her then. Anyway, other than that, let me look. There's some other things going on. Um, so we found out today from the city councilman mouth itself. It wasn't shut down because of the crime. It was shut down because they refused, and now I'm glad he corrected me. They refused to come before the city council to answer for the things are going on at their place because they, yeah. Now one thing about it, that's like the IRS. If the IRS sends you a letter, you may not want to, you may not like it, but I learned the hard way. Send them a letter back. Okay, okay. They're not going any place. They got people who sit up there at the IRS just so they can find out who in the hell they finna stick it to. Okay, so listen, if the IRS sends you a letter, if you never take any advice I've ever given you, if you get a letter from the IRS, please answer the letter. They're not going away. They won't forget about it. And that's before we had computers. And now we got computers. So they are never going away. So if you get a letter from the IRS, just make sure you know, make sure you get write them a letter back. Write them a nice letter. Okay. Saying, listen, sorry about that. We're going to take care of that. Okay, that's what I'm just saying. Saturday. So, okay, let me see if I can get this thing. Okay, we got this. Okay, we got that going on. Okay, I know people are tired, but let me tell you what people haven't gotten tired of. And then for this segment, for this year, I'll be done with the Whitehurst case because I'm gonna talk about it at least once a year. But for this year, I'll be done. But let me tell you what we don't get tired of. For years, did anybody ever think that the United States Supreme Court would agree that a man and a woman can get married and we call it marriage? Did anybody in their wildest imagination ever think that would have happened? In 1972, did we really ever think that we were going to legitimize abortion? No, we didn't, because we thought we had some morals left, well, at least a couple of them anyway. So if you don't stay on something in this country, and gayism, did you ever think that we were living, well, not gayism, transgenderism? Did you ever believe that the propaganda and the brainwashing could actually convince people that a man can turn himself into a woman and a woman can be a man? You know why we are just tolerating it? Because we've been beat to death by it mentally, propaganda, brainwashing, whichever one you want to call it. And we just got tired of, okay, hey, listen, we'll whatever you say, man. Whatever you say. Okay, really. If you think your pronouns are we and us and them, if you think that, right on, we go, hey, we, come here. Whatever. But on this case, on the Whitehurst case, we stay away from it in this city like anything I've never seen. Somebody was done wrong. The most precious thing in the world to that man was taken from him, and that was his life. And we talk about it happened a long time ago. But murder, there's no statute of limitation. They murdered that man. But hey, I'm not an Alabamian, so, and evidently there's something under the surface in this city. There's something under the surface because we raise hell about the boat, the bridge crossing. That happened before Whitehurst, and we commemorated 70 years ago. It happened 20 years before him. 20 years after what happened there, and we celebrated. So there's an undercurrent in this city. And I don't know who's in charge of it, but somebody is. Somebody is saying, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. And I'm thinking a lot of politicians got their comeuppance because they did let it go. I think a lot of politicians they just they found themselves in a good position and they just let it go. Okay, if that's just let it go. Okay, okay. So Gary, Dr. Joe. All right, forgive me for saying Bubbleville. Okay, my bad. Okay. I mean, and what I meant by Bubbleville, well, that's a place where people believe in shooting Bambi, shooting chickens, shooting turkeys, and stuff like that. And even they got an MLK Street. Okay, but I apologize for the Bubbleville remark. Okay, I'm still a black man. You know what I'm saying? So it's Prattville, not Bubbleville. Okay, my bad. So I don't mind when I'm wrong. I was probably wrong about that one, but But again, I was trying to make the point. Even a place where Martin Luther King's name doesn't mean a whole lot, they are at least acknowledging his presence, his having been here and left and made things a little different. Even for some of the Bubbas, it's a little different. Okay. Oh, there goes that Bubba thing again. It's Prattville. So okay, I apologize. Okay, my bad. I'm apologizing. Although you did say Samboville needs a MLK Street. Now that's kind of I mean, that's kind of listen. Okay, I'm accept that for the time being, because you're upset at me calling it Prattville, Bubbleville. Okay, I'm gonna accept that. But can we use something besides Sambleville? Can we say Darkville or something like that? I mean, or Negroville or something like that. The Sambo thing just has a twinge of racism attached to it. You know what I'm saying? Just a twinge of it. I'm just saying. But I know you're not a racist guy, so I'm just saying. How about Negroville in the future? Okay, not Samboville. Okay, I'm just saying we might not want to use that word too often. Okay. Okay, I'm just saying. All right. Does anybody agree with me out there that Samboville is a little kind of, that's kind of. Hey James, good morning to you. Appreciate you. Um, so anyway, so anybody else want to? Good morning, Julia. How you doing? Who else is on the phone? Okay, I want to thank CC Calhoun for answering the telephone this morning. So now I am he changed my mind a little bit about what they did to the guy. But if you get a letter from the city council, it's like getting a letter from the IRS. Answer the letter. If they say be down here at a certain time, because when you do finally show up and they close your business, then sorry about that. Okay, I'm just saying. Kevin, you never smoke, never drink. You ain't done. Yeah, yeah. There are a lot of things that a person can do besides smoking and drinking that can get them in trouble. So I just never did. I just never did those two wrong things. Okay. Let me see. Hey, Steve. Standards never go down, and they will continue. What do you say? Uh, Airborne all the way. That's what AATW mean. Let's go. 325 driver here. Standards never go down. They will continue to rise as we need the brass to get in line and NCOs. Let them do their job. Absolutely, absolutely. I think Hexef is actually going to do that. I think he is going to demand that warrior ethos be brought back because we got kind of weak there for a minute. We gave our troops a card to say can I get a break? A card that had well, if the enemy's behind you and you got to go to 12-mile road march, guess what? You can't show them a card and say I'm tired. You can't do that. Okay. Now let me go back to my other thing right quick because I haven't really said much about this, and I meant to. Let me see. Get this over here. Da, 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 da. They haven't said much about this, but I need to because it is something that is important, and we are going to bring it up. Okay. Now, as you guys know, that each year around this time, we find people um, who who need a hand, who people who by no fault of their own, they may find themselves in a position where things are kind of tough for them. Okay, so what we do is every year about this time we go out and we ask the community. We ask the community to give us a hand in it's called Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award 2025. And what we do is we go around the town, we ask people to donate, to give us money, and on 3 days before Christmas, we go to these people's houses and we do video and everything. We go to people's houses and we knock on the door. Now, one lady, I not now just a little funny story. One lady wouldn't come to the door because she didn't know me. Okay, she didn't know me, and so she wouldn't come to the door. Okay, and we had money for her. we had money for her, but she didn't know me. She thought I was a crook. So I went around the corner. Okay, I said, we'll come back. I went around the corner. She was getting in a car. I said, are you Mrs. Jones? Her name wasn't Jones. Are you Mrs. Jones? She said, yes. I said, well, why won't you come to the door? I don't know you. I said, okay, okay. But the good Lord must have wanted her to have that money because normally I'd be gone and go and take it to somebody else. So what we do is we show up at your house without you knowing, because you don't. It, well, first of all, let me digress. If you know someone, and this is how we get the people, this is how we get the people involved. If you know someone who is having a difficult time at this time of year, especially older people, what we do is we take the money and we give it to them. They don't know we coming because even if you put them in, you cannot tell them that you did it. So just in case um, we don't get the money, then we won't disappoint somebody 2 times. Okay. Okay. So what we do is we take the names and it's a first come, first serve. So if I only make $100, then I give it to the first person and get the letter in. Okay. Okay. Now you can send me a letter. You can send a letter or you can send an email. And what I will do, if they end up on the roll, I will let you know. If we make the money, I will let you know that we're gonna pick them. And so you will uh, um, sort of make sure that they are in the vicinity of their house on that day without telling them that we're coming. Okay. Now, how do we get the money? We get the money by asking you guys to donate whatever you can. Uh, we like at a minimum we like to get $20. And the way you get the money to us is that the way we get the money to us is you first of all you can go to GoFundMe, and you can find it's called Helping Hand Good Neighbor Award 2025. And you can donate whatever you want there, whatever you want there. Again, we just ask if it can at least be $20. Okay, we like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, but we know that everybody's having it tough right now. But believe it or not, no matter how tough we're having it, there's somebody having it rougher than you. And with Alabama Power, I got a story about Alabama Power here right now. I think it was Britt or somebody got on them, but we will. I'll tell you about that story probably tomorrow. But I haven't really had an opportunity to explain our Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award. So we take the money that we collect, okay, we put it in a pile, and here's what we try to do. There'll be one person that gets $1,000. Okay, if we can raise it, $1,000. Everybody else will get $500. Um, the more money we get, the more people we can help. We will film it. We've shown up at people's jobs to give it to them. We've shown up all over the place. We it is a blessing to see people who appreciate the things that you guys do. Okay, I put a little, but yeah, this is hey, Doctor Joe, and I saw that, and I was gonna bring that up a little late when I get done finishing this. But it's about time they're the most profitable utility company. Right, but they are not. But they are not a regular business. They are, but they're the only business I know of that's guaranteed that profit. Okay, they collecting all of our money at will is what they're doing. Well, the water company's got to go through the city of Montgomery in order. Yeah, well, I think they didn't bought I think they didn't bought the PSC. So you know, well, maybe they did. Yeah, I don't know, but a lot. Well, that's because they've already charging us enough money for the next 2 years. They're not doing us any favor. Well, again, they're already taking. You can't get much more money out of us. Well, now that's why they got generators. Okay, yeah, and so and 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 solar panels, something like that. I don't know, but generators certainly work there. I ain't going to the solar panel thing just in case the sun don't come out. I'll be cold as hell in the house. All right, hey, I feel you on that one. Okay, but let me get this one right here. Um, So what we do is we come to your house 3 days before Christmas and we give you a check. We don't give you a check, we give you cash. Okay. So if you do have a light bill to pay, or if you do need some groceries, last year we went to a business, we gave money, and the guy had just got his grandkids because somehow um, their mothers couldn't take care of them, or some of the kids may be. He had nothing for Christmas, no money to buy him anything for Christmas, anything. Guess what? We came up, we gave him $1,000. I knew who he was. I didn't know who he was, but I knew who they told me he was. And guess what? He was able to do for his kids, for his grandkids, what he wasn't going to be able to do anything for them. They wasn't even going to know it was Christmas. That's how broke he was. But we helped him out. You helped him out. The people who give us money every year. So for 9 years we've been doing this, and we're asking you to help us out a little bit here and go to GoFundMe, and then you would have the Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award. And if you just give us $20, we appreciate that. But if you want to give 100, that's fine too. Okay. Now the next way you can get it, the next way you can do it, if you happen to be a Venmo uh, person, you can send money to Venmo, and that's at Kevin Elkins 21, like it is on the screen. Venmo. We appreciate whatever you can give. We just ask if you can give us at least $20. We'd appreciate that. We're not trying to take all your money and all that stuff. We don't want to do that. Okay, we don't want to do that. Okay, and the last way, if you could well, this ain't. I got one more way after this, or you can go to Cash App and type in my number 334-241-9998, and you'll see my smiling face there. And any amount would do. We just ask maybe $20. Okay, that way I can put it together and help folks out. Okay, you will become a blessing to a lot of people if you could find in your heart to give a little bit of money this year. I know it's tough for everybody, but I'm not just asking you to give money. I give money to. I'm not going to be like some of these businesses. They ask you for money. Hey, how much you give them? Oh, we didn't give it. They beg you for money, but they don't put nothing in it. Well, we do. I do. I do. I'm not like it's me. I do, and me and Randy, and we go to people. I don't care how cold it is on those days before Christmas. We still gonna hit that street, and we're gonna help people. We're gonna help somebody, because I've been helped by a few people already. Our goal was $10,000. Okay, I need $7,500 in order to reach that. But even if I can reach half that, I'll still be okay. I'll still feel pretty good about it. Okay. The other, again, Cash App is one way. You can type in my number 241-9998, 334-241-9998. You'll see my name and all. Send it to us. Make sure you put on there HH or Helping Hand. That way I know what the money's for. Also, Venmo at Kevin-Elkins at -21. Okay, Venmo. And all else fails, you can go to GoFundMe and you can find the Helping Hand Good Neighbor Award, and it will be right there. And you can just get any amount you want to give. At a minimum, though, if you can just spare $20, that would do us some good. But if all you got is $5, we don't turn that down either. Though. We don't turn, listen, because a bunch of $5s can make 20. Okay, so we don't. I'm just asking for $20 because at least that pretty much let us help. Okay, so you can do that. And if all else fails, if you don't believe in technology and all that stuff, and you want to send a check, well, you can send the check, and you can send it to the address right there. Okay, 1917 Yancey, and that would be apartment 1. I think that's what. Well, hold on. Apartment 1. Let's see, 1917 Yancey Avenue, APT 1. Okay, and it'll be 36107. Okay, Montgomery, Alabama. You can do that. Okay, because I don't want to get to. I'm trying. I'll be begging every day. Yeah, I will be. But that's okay. It's for a good cause. Now, however, here's the stipulation. Nobody can ask for themselves. Somebody has to ask for you. Okay, you can't. We don't, because I don't have a way of determining whether or not you're full of it or whether or not you actually need the help, because a lot of people will lie about these things, and so I don't have time. I don't have time to go around finding out whether or not people. Yeah, I did see the 2 year. Yeah, listen, they made $9 billion in profit this year already. They're not doing us a favor. Okay, they're not doing us a favor. They already made their profit for the next 10 years. So they're not doing us a favor. They're screwing us, gluing us, and tattooing us. Alabama Power. So they made $9 billion profit. I'm not saying just money. They made $9 billion profit already this year. So let's not be patting them on the back like they're doing us a favor. No, they're not. Okay. Anyway, okay. So 1917 Yancey Avenue. That's where you can send it to. Here it is right here. Da 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 da. There you go, right there. Apartment 1, Montgomery, 36107. So you can send a check if you just want to send a check to us. That's fine, and make the check out to Helping Hands. Okay, that's all. Or you can go to any Service First Bank if you're downtown. SERVICE. I think it's called First. Okay, bank. And deposit it directly into account, so you can see there's an account there. It's been there for 5-6 years or so. Okay, it's been there for Yeah, I do live in an apartment. Yeah, I love apartments. I ain't crazy about houses. I don't like houses. You got to pay the light. You got to pay to cut the grass. You got to put a roof on. Things get all in your plumbing. Then one day you wake up, you got to pay somebody cold plumbing or somebody uh, $1,500 to let. No, forget that crap. Now I love apartments. I love them. Yes. But anyway, that way, if the roof blows a new roof, I ain't got to put it on. He does. Okay. I'm just saying. Okay. So there we go. Service First Bank. You can go there, and they got one downtown on Commerce Street and another one on any other street. So let me go through the ways how you can help, and then we'll end the show with something else. Okay. So what pronouns must be we and us. I hear you, brother. So send a check. You can send a check to 1917 Yancey Avenue, Apartment 1, Montgomery, Alabama, 36107. Or you can, let's see. Let me see what else. Good morning, Randy. And Randy is the guy who goes with me every year, and we go out and deliver the money to the people who need it. Okay, that somebody said they needed it anyway. They may not know they need it, but somebody put their name in because they need it. Okay, they know they need it. Okay, and older people are always too proud. Um, they're always too proud to ask for help because most of their lives they've been doing it themselves, working 2 and 3 jobs, and they just, they just knock things on out. They just knock them on out. So we go by and help them, and we won't leave. We make them take the money. Okay. Don't forget one of our sponsors, One Stop Wireless at 334-320-2988. Hey, if you got a phone, because I did it yesterday, if you got a phone that's in the house that's not working, they can get the phone back on for you. And they got plans up there for $25 a month, up to $50 a month. I'm talking about for service, $25 a month. Good people. They got Android. They got Android. Give me a minute there, brother. I'll be right back. They got Android phones, Apple phones, all kind of phones. Please go out there and do business with them. They're a small business in town, but they are really good people. And I've been doing business for about 10 years. Okay. And I love them. They're just really great people. Even if I'm a little late, they don't just go ahead and cut the phone off on a brother. They'll give me a call, and I'll make sure I make it up there. Okay. Again, go to GoFundMe to help Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award, and look for the Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award for this year. Donate what you can. Also, you can go to where else I got on here. Venmo. Venmo is Venmo at Kevin-Elkins-21. And again, last but not least, you can go to Cash App, and you just got to put the number in 334-241-9998, and you'll reach us. Okay. I do appreciate you. I thank you in advance for the helping. Luke 12:48 says that, and I never knew what that meant until recently. Well, I knew what it meant, but I never paid much attention. For everyone to whom much is given, from him much will be required. So if you got a little extra this year, I don't even know what extra looks like anymore. Okay, none of us got extra, but sometimes you have to give even when you only got a little. Remember the woman with the little, and when Jesus went to it, she gave all she had. Okay, and her cup runneth over after she did. So if you guys are willing to help us one more time, one more year, I do appreciate it. Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award. It is neighbors helping neighbors. And the thing about this neighbor, though, your neighbor won't know you helped, but you'll know. You will know. Anyway, so moving right along to other things. We're going to do that. Thank you, guys, for being patient with me this morning, because I got to get this information out. If you got friends that can help, and if you know somebody, make sure you can send me an email to Logic LOJ. Well, let me put that. Okay, here's an email. You can put somebody in by email, but when you put them in, you must tell me something about them. Logic 2025 at gmail.com. Okay, so do that, and you can send. So if you don't want to, if you want those people who don't write letters or anything like that, please please do that for us, and we will. You can put them in that way. But they do have to have a phone number where they can be reached. Okay, so just so I can make sure that they are who you say they are, and things of that nature. And even when I call them, they won't know why I'm calling them. I just verify that these are real people. That's all. To make sure that we ain't get, I don't want to end up in a end up in a dump somewhere, you know, because somebody knew we were coming. So anyway, do that for me. Okay, so you can see if you know somebody, you can send the email to lojic2025@gmail.com. Now, move right along to other. Let me see what my good friend right here wants. Okay, what's up, man? Pretty good, pretty good. Mhm. Not that I know of. In every city council district, listen, the word is, oh, it's a good thing, but we just don't want it in our district. People whining on the street. Yeah,
At one of those establishments. I just thought that by now they would have had something there. But if we can do a soup line or a soup kitchen at maybe at Friendship or Friendship Mission House or wherever,
well, Map,
I think it's an
I think Map Ken Austin's place, I think, does that
okay,
already. I'll get him on and tell what he's got planned or anything like
right.
that. Yeah,
And I'm just picking your brain. I think it'd be an opportunity to get your listeners together under one accord, under one agreement, and that is to do what we can to help serve and uplift the community. So it'd be kind of like a reunion thing where we get together as your core listeners.
yeah,
You call us, you get together, and we meet up and we do something for the good of the community. I know that we have our political differences and other differences or whatever, but at the end of the day, I think that we respect and love mankind, and we know that we're celebrating the life of Christ, and we ask what would He do? And in the Bible, He said, feed the hungry. And He said,
yeah,
whatever you
yeah.
do to the least of mine, you do to me also. So I think in the spirit of grace and mercy, in the future, may not have to be this year, but you
Right,
call
right.
all hands on deck,
Yeah.
to participate in that effort.
Yeah, good idea. Me or somebody, good idea. Yeah, and I'll certainly, if the good Lord allows me to see another year, I will certainly take that into consideration.
I'll be the first. I'll be the first to join you, man.
All
I'll
right.
be the first to join you.
Hey, appreciate you.
Okay, take care.
Okay. And again, Helping Hands Good Neighbor Award. I do appreciate you guys. You go to my Facebook page, you'll see that there's links all on the Facebook page to go to the place and all kind of things. Anyway, it has been an interesting day to talk to you folks today. I still ain't gonna quit the Whitehurst thing. I'll bring them at least once a year. Okay, so y'all just might as well going down, just wait for it, and I'll just make sure I bring it up because this city owes that family. This city owes that family more than it can ever pay them. Okay, not the mayor, not our city council now, not but the city is still under the same charter it was in 1975. They have a responsibility, I believe, to um, to help that family. But that's just one black man's opinion. Okay, all right. So, like I say, always say this. You know what? There's one positive thing about failure. It is the only true indication that you had the courage to try something that was hard. Okay, it is the only failure is the only indicator that shows that you tried, and that's all you can ask from anybody. Do your best. Falling down does not make you strong, but getting up every time you do gives you the strength of a Hercules. And to you, it is a great day, a fantastic day to be alive. See you tomorrow. The good Lord says the same. You know, we're going to talk about a little bit about tomorrow with my preacher people. The Bible said, take care of the widows. Is that the young widows or the old widows? We got to figure that out tomorrow. Okay? We'll see you. Have a great day, and thanks for listening or looking, whichever one you do.
With grace.